Hello and welcome to the course orientation for Intermediate Algebra, MAT 094 at North Shore Community College for fall 2016. I'm Pat Doobie and I will be teaching you during this course. I'm a full-time professor of mathematics, associate professor of mathematics at North Shore Community College. My office is in Lynn, but I will be meeting with you in Danvers. And my email is on this page if you need to get a hold of me. So this is your orientation to the course, and the reason this needs an orientation is it's not just a class you show up to and then listen to what I have to say there. You need to pay close attention so you know what the expectations are and know the logistics of what you have to do so you can succeed in this intermediate algebra course. The course meets for half the time a 4-credit course would normally meet, and the rest of the course is online. That's why we call it a hybrid. So intermediate algebra at our school basically reviews and increases your skills in all of the high school algebra topics that you may have learned long ago and forgotten or may never really have grasped the first time through. This prepares you for Pre-Calculus 1. This goes very quickly. We're basically covering all except geometry from your high school courses, so that's 3 years of materials in 14-15 weeks. So you cannot get behind. You move from one topic to another very quickly, and they do build on each other. So you will do this by completing online lessons and homework outside of class. You'll be able to make your own schedule for when you do that, but you're going to need to set aside a good chunk of hours during the week, spread over several days ideally, to do your homework and watch videos and fill in notes that go with them outside of class. And then we meet in class for 2 hours rather than 4 as the course normally would, to help enhance your learning of the topics presented online and help answer any questions you have or present solutions that you may have found difficult. And we will do some activities that will really engage you in the material. Your quizzes will be online, and there are a bunch of them, a couple for every unit typically, and there are 4 written tests and a final that will be given in the testing center, and these all go into your grade according to the syllabus. You can read the list of topics below, and you can see that it's a lot of stuff you've seen before in high school, but don't let that fool you into thinking this is easy. The reason you're in here is because you did not place into pre-calculus in the placement test, which means you need to review many of these topics. So when we say it's a hybrid class, what we mean is that most of the course is set up like an online course in Blackboard Learn, but unlike an online course, you actually do meet face-to-face once a week for half the hours that the class would normally meet. This means you still get the benefit of having an instructor that you meet and get to feel comfortable communicating with, and you get to meet some classmates, and we have time to work out difficulties, and it's a little more personal. So each week you will complete a video-based set of lessons. We've made the videos ourselves, Professor Stone and I, and they're all on the Blackboard Learn site, and each one has a printable learning guide that you should print. You'll watch the video and take notes. In addition to the video lessons from the Blackboard Learn site, we will also be using an online portal called MyMathLab, which is what you bought the access code for in the required materials, and the weekly quizzes will be administered in MyMathLab. The unit test and final exam will be paper-based. You will write on them with a pencil and will be administered in the testing center, either in Lynn or in Danvers, per what the syllabus says. So this is the required course material, that MyMathLab Student Access Kit. Our course will link it to the Blitzer Pre-Calculus book that we use in Math 151 and 152, which means if you go on in the spring to take Math 151, you will not need to buy another access kit. You'll be able to use the same one because it'll be linked to the same book. You will also need a scientific or graphing calculator. A scientific calculator runs $10 to $12. Make sure you get one that will do fractions. Some of the business calculators do not. Or you can use a TI-83 or 84, and during the class meeting times, we will be helping you to use your calculator effectively. Many times students have calculators and they don't know how to use them effectively. So besides a calculator, you need a computer and internet access because the bulk of the material is online. You need to be able to access the internet regularly. So please make sure that your computer can open PDF files and that you can view videos. I recommend that you use Google Chrome as your browser. It seems to be the most stable. And let me know if you have any questions or concerns about technical requirements. If you are having technical problems, the help desk at North Shore Community College has an email, which is here. It has a phone number, which is here. Let me know if you're having technical problems so I'm aware, so I can make sure that you're getting the help you need. If you're having trouble with Blackboard Learn, they have an email here. They're very good at helping you through that. If you just can't find something in the course, like you don't know where something is, look through the announcements, email me, and I can help you with that too. My Math Lab, which is the homework portal, if you're having trouble with that, if sometimes pop-ups are blocked in your browser and it causes difficulties, if you're having any trouble with that, go to the website and use their customer service. They also have a phone number on the website, and most students have told me that they're very patient and helpful. So let me know you're having trouble and let me know how you're resolving it so I can maybe help with that too. So here are the ways to get to Blackboard Learn. You can go to this link straight. You can actually just type blackboard.northshore.edu, but no www, and it will bring you to the Blackboard sign-in. Or you can go into Pipeline and then go into the My Courses tab, and you'll be able to click on an icon for Blackboard. When you log into our Blackboard Learn course site, you'll enter the course announcements page. To the left of the announcements, there'll be links to some helpful materials. The course syllabus, which basically contains all the expectations and guidelines for the course and for how you will be graded. And then a little bit more about this hybrid course and information about where tutoring is available. The course calendar will have the due dates for lessons, quizzes, midterms, tests, and the final exam. And content area is where all the units are set up in modules. This is where you'll see a list of content objectives and a learning guide that tells you what you should do for each unit. And there are videos with learning guides, with study guides to print that you can take notes on. And each unit has at least one video and learning guide. Some have more. Weekly announcements will be how I remind you of what you're supposed to be doing. And if you ever have any questions about that, you certainly email me anyway. But that should all be in the calendar, but I will try to keep reminding you just in case you're forgetting to look. And additional links will be available on that left side with testing center information, their hours and things like that, calculator help, some formulas and tables that'll be useful, and a link to the Desmos Graphing Calculator, which is a really neat online tool that we'd like to expose you to because you may find it helpful. So how do you succeed in this course? Well, some of the things you need to do to succeed in this course are the same as what you need to do to succeed in any other college math course. But you need to be a little more self-disciplined here because most everything is done online except for the 2 hours of class. So you have to complete your assignments in a timely fashion according to the due dates. Do not wait till the last minute to do anything. All the due dates are in the course calendar. You need to establish a routine. For a 4-credit course, you are expected to spend 4 hours in the classroom and another 12 outside doing homework, taking quizzes, studying, looking at optional materials, getting tutoring. So we're only going to meet 2 hours, so you can expect to have to spend 14 hours outside of the course by doing the things that you have to do and getting help when you need it. You have to be a good self-advocate for getting help. So you need to establish a good routine by setting a schedule. And I know some of you have variable work schedules, but you need to look at each week coming up and figure out 2 or 3 times a week that you're going to allow yourself enough time to successfully learn the material. I would suggest even more than 3 times is helpful because that's a lot of hours you're going to put in. And doing it all at once isn't that helpful. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong button here. You can use time in class to ask questions about problems you're struggling with or anything you don't understand, and we will have other things we do in class too. But that's a time for you to get some face-to-face help from me every week that's scheduled. You're going to complete your quizzes and tests on time so you get credit for them. You don't want 0 on a quiz or 0 on a test because you missed the deadline. And you're going to maintain a 3-ring binder with printouts in your notes and your written out homework your work for your homework problems. So if you're having difficulty with a homework problem, I can look at your work and see where you're going wrong or where you're getting stuck. So keep a good 3-ring binder as a reference for this course. Each week you're going to read the weekly announcement, click on the content link to the left of the announcements, and work on the current course material. You'll be viewing video lessons and taking notes, and then doing homework, basically. That's what the second bullet says here. In my math lab, there are helps available to you. View an example, help me solve this. And there's also an Ask My Instructor link. If you hit Ask My Instructor, it gives you a space to type what your question is, or say, I need help with this. And then when you hit send, it sends me an email that contains the problem you are working on and shows me what you've entered so far. That is very helpful to me in responding to you. If I know what problem you're working on, you don't have to describe it. It sends me the whole thing. Or if you say, I just don't know how to do problems like this, it gives me a good example to work from. And then I can get you help by email, or if it's very close to the class meeting time, I could even have something put together to do in class, especially if several of you had the same questions. So that Ask My Instructor button is very helpful in my math lab. If you ever need to see your course grades or want to see your course grades, and you should be aware of what they are, click on the grades link in the Blackboard course menu. Any work that is not yet done and is still blank is not calculated as a 0, but so it's not quite a running average, but it is a running average as deadlines are missed and zeros are put in. Whatever work you do will be in there pretty quickly. So if an online quiz is due, you're going to click on my math lab link in the course menu and make sure to submit that quiz on time. And we will go over this in the first courses, like where are all these links and what do I do with them. If you're late with that, you'll get a 0 for that quiz grade. If there's a test due in a given week, it's in the testing center for a week to 10 days before it's due, and it's due by 4 p.m. on a Wednesday because class begins at 4 p.m., which means you need to be in the testing center by 2:30 the day it's due. And if you need to take the test in Lynn instead of Danvers, you'll need to get in touch with me, but that'll be clear as we go through the course. So everybody runs into rough spots. If you're having difficulty with a problem, there are many places you can get help. I have other videos and other sample problems posted in most chapter modules, and if you would like another example of something, just email me and I'll get you one. The Math Tutoring Center is free, and I don't know why people don't utilize it more. We may actually take a trip to the one in Danvers during class 1 early on so you know where it is. They have many tutors who can really be of assistance in this course, because intermediate algebra is a course most math tutors would be able to help you with. You don't need an appointment, you just drop in. It's included in your tuition. It's a service the school provides. Take advantage of it. There is also some e-tutoring available. If you've used that before, you may want to utilize that again. You can make an appointment with me. Email me and we can find a time and a place that's convenient for both of us. I have an office in Lynn, but that doesn't mean I can't meet you in Danvers. And you should bring your questions to our weekly class meetings. And you should also get to know the emails and get to know a couple of students in the class. Study groups are really good. The tutoring center is actually a place you could actually go and work with a couple people, and then if the group has questions that nobody can answer, there's a tutor nearby. So you really should get to know each other a bit. The best way to communicate with me is my email, which is shown here. And during weekdays, you'll most often hear from me within 24 hours. On weekends, you will hear from me by 4 on Sunday afternoon. It'll often be better than that, but that's all I guarantee. If I'm away for a weekend or something, I'm not always responding or not always able to respond to your questions. So on the first day, we're going to review the course orientation very briefly, and it will also be available in the Unit 1 module, so you can review it at any time. You should begin the course by logging into Blackboard Learn and reading the Getting Started announcement. Then we're going to have some learning activities to do with the content link. We will do some stuff in a classroom, then hopefully move to a computer lab. I'm still working on that. Then you want to make sure you have completed the Blackboard Learn orientation before you come to that first class, if possible, just so you know how Blackboard works in general. That's separate from this. And we look forward to seeing you in class on Wednesday, September 7th, 2016 at 4 p.m. in Danvers. I will post announcements with the room closer to when the class starts, in case it's changed or anything like that. And I'm really looking forward to this class, and I'd like you to sign into Blackboard Learn if you can before the first class and click on the content link and take a look at what's there. And even if you can start working on some of the materials in Unit 2, it starts off with solving equations, which many of you aren't going to find that difficult. You could actually get started on the class before we even start if you want. All right, we'll see you in class on Wednesday, September 7th. Thank you.